Welcome to the Northeast Florida Development Diaries, the place where we share the stories shaping the future of our region. This series is brought to you by the Northeast Florida Economic Development Corporation, a partnership committed to strengthening our communities, attracting investment, and expanding opportunity across Northeast Florida. I'm Amber Shepard, the Strategic Alliances Business Partner for Northeast Florida Economic Development Corporation, and your host. Each episode, we sit down with investor members, state leaders, and innovators who are driving growth, not just in boardrooms, but in neighborhoods, schools, and local businesses across our counties. These conversations shine a light on the people and programs moving our region forward and the impact their work has on our communities. This is where insight meets action. This is the Development Diaries. Today, I have the honor of welcoming our guest for episode two, someone who has been absolutely instrumental in shaping the foundation and direction of the Northeast Florida Economic Development Corporation. Sandra Kahle was the founding chair of NEFEDC and recently retired from our board in October after years of dedicated service. Her leadership played a critical role in establishing the organization's vision, structure, and long-term impact, and she continues to support NEFEDC as an investor member. Sandra is also highly respected as a leader in commercial real estate. She brings a rare and powerful combination of experience across engineering, law, and real estate. She began her career as an engineer and manager at Bell South, later earning her MBA from the University of North Florida and obtaining her professional engineering license. She also practiced bankruptcy law before transitioning fully into commercial real estate. Today, Sandra is the owner and broker of Kahle Commercial Group, where she specializes in commercial property sales and leasing, and she holds the prestigious CCIM designation. Her depth of experience across commercial, industrial, and real estate has made her an invaluable leader and strategist for economic development in Northeast Florida. Sandra, thank you for the legacy you've helped build and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So glad that you could join us. For those who don't know about you and your organization, can you share a little bit about your personal growth and development professionally and what inspired you to work here in North Florida?
Well, I was born in Jacksonville, so I have always been in the North Florida area, except for 2.5 years where the telephone company sent me to New Jersey with Belcor for a while. And then I rotated back to Cocoa Beach and then eventually went to law school at the University of Florida and ended up back in North Florida and back home around the Jacksonville area. So basically, this is home, and I'm very interested in improving it and helping people grow within it. And real estate has given me the opportunity to do that. I was a broker owner of a real estate company, and I have since transitioned, and we're in our private corporation now, and my partner, Cindy McLean, is the actual broker of the corporation. I'm just a broker associate now. And so she takes care of all of that stuff, and I just look at the real estate itself. Um, I have a very large family, and they keep me very busy. And especially as I grow older and they grow in numbers. We just had a new addition. I think there's now about 28 of us.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so that's always exciting. But I've been very blessed with having wonderful mentors over my life, starting with my parents and then bosses. The boss who encouraged me to go get that professional engineering license. I didn't even know you could get it without an engineering degree, and I do not have one. I had a degree in food and resource economics and pre-veterinarian medicine. So I had a lot of science and mathematics and along with business courses. And So he suggested that and pushed and pushed. I finally said, okay, fine, I'll try it. And it just worked out fine. Sat for the exam and was able to get my PE, and that pushed me forward in my career with Bell South. After that, I got that promotion to New Jersey and then got promoted back to Cocoa Beach, Florida as a division manager and ended up basically retiring from there. I took a sabbatical first and went to law school at the University of Florida. Greatly enjoyed that and came out of law school and retired from the telephone company and then practiced law for a few years. And then I stumbled into real estate. I was really just wasting some time and helping my sister and building her website. And I had those skills. I could do it from, base language and whatever, and Fortran, and I had all of the tools, HTML programming. So I did that for her. And she did a couple of commercial deals, and I said, I think I like this commercial stuff. You can keep the residential. And then I went off to get my commercial education with CCIM. I'm still very active in CCIM. I'm on the board of the North District of the Florida chapter, and I was an officer in the Florida chapter for several years. So that is one thing that I think is very important for commercial brokers is to get their education in place. So it has been exciting, and again, I've been able to stay in North Florida, which is nice. And that's really, North Florida is really the reason that I got involved with the Northeast Florida Economic Development Corporation. I started sitting in on the Bradford County Development Authority meetings and just to see what was happening. And then they were being dissolved. So I stepped in and set up NEFEDC, got it incorporated. We added a couple other officers to begin with, and then the rest of the folks came in as they could later on. So it's been very exciting, and I think it's doing a great job. So from there, we got it set up in EFEDC and got it rolling, and I think it's done a wonderful job so far, and I'm very excited about what it can do in the future.
What would you say that you love the most about doing business in this region? I mean, you've traveled around, you've been in different regions, but this is where you choose to call home and this is where you've chosen to build your businesses. Why is that?
I think there's a lot of opportunity here for one. We have a lot of growth opportunity. I was just down in Orlando in Central Florida, and it was interesting, but I wouldn't want to live there. And then down in South Florida, they're kind of running out of land. And in North Florida, we have all this opportunity up here with all this land, and a great atmosphere and weather and great people. And they're very down to earth people in most cases. And Florida has positioned itself to be receptive to new businesses, be it tax wise or law wise or anyway, just about residential wise. As far as you look at it, Florida is just a great place to be, and I think North Florida is the best part of the state, and we have a lot of opportunity, and we can grow. Um, and have room to do that. So whether it's subdivisions or the commercial that follows that, I think there's an immense amount of opportunity here in North Florida, and it's a very pleasant place to live, and it is very welcoming to families and being able to raise your children here. And we have one of the best universities in the country, just a few miles from Bradford County and Union County. And that too is, I think, a big pulling that we're sitting between Gainesville and the University of Florida and Jacksonville and the ports that in rails that it has to offer. I just think that Bradford's just sitting in a gold mine if someone will take the effort to develop it.
Yep, and we're hopeful. We have a number of projects in the pipeline, and hopefully, we'll have some of those developers on our future episodes so they can talk about the projects that we intend to bring to the community. Of course, we don't want to count our chicks before they hatch until the ink is dry on the paper, for sure. But it's
Right,
definitely a very
exactly.
hopeful situation. So. From your perspective, how has NEFEDC helped to create opportunities or visibility for businesses like yours?
Well, I think that it has just by us pushing the area and trying to encourage people from around the United States and around the world to at least look at us and see what we have to offer. And I think that's extremely important to start out with. You have to get people focused on your area if you're going to invite them to come in. And I think that we have been doing a very good job of that. And, there's still a lot to be done. And we're still kind of new in the minds of a lot of these people that are looking for locations. But you just have to keep repeating it and going after it and explaining and, pushing forward. So I think that as we are able to start bringing in one of these large corporations, that will start triggering a waterfall of action.
That's the plan for sure. So, what would you say to other business owners who may be considering joining the EDC? What would you tell them about your experience?
I think that for the costs that we're talking about, which can be fairly low for an individual or a small business, uh, it's not more than a couple of really good dinners. And you need the fact that you're helping drive this force within the area is very critical. You can't be looking at just your business or your business right now. You have to look at all of the businesses that impact yours, and you have to look to the future. And I think it's very important for us to contribute to groups like NEFEDC that will help the area and bring it the attention to it and what is available here and in order to grow other businesses, and other businesses will grow my business or your business or anybody's business. And I think that's the important part to remember is, and the cost it's very low compared to the benefit that we can all get. And even one transaction in 10 years is going to take care of all of the money that, we've invested in NEFEDC.
Thank you for that. What would you say is next on your radar? Are there any exciting projects or goals on the horizon for Kahle Commercial Group?
Well, we're possibly going to expand by adding someone to the group. We're kind of getting to that point where we need to add someone. I have become very focused on land development and both residential and commercial. And so I'm trying to stay focused in that vein. My partner is handles investors across the state. We do help people buy investment property anywhere in the state of Florida. And then we also help, she's got a property management, commercial property management going on in the brokerage company. And so she's able to help people manage their commercial inventory that they have. And that's very important, especially as people age and maybe the spouse that was handling it passes away, and then the family's left with all of this commercial real estate, and they're kind of at a loss as to what to do with it. And, we can help them do that, help them manage it for a time, or help them eventually, dispose of it. And there's nothing more exciting to me than helping someone benefit from something that they own instead of feeling like it's a stone around their neck. And then also being able to hand it off to someone who's going to help it grow and become more than it is right now. And to me, that's the real goal of what we do is to help people do this. And we've helped a lot of people that have inherited land. And then the siblings are trying to decide what are we going to do with it? And we got to get rid of it. We don't want to pay the taxes on it. We don't want to maintain it. And then we can go out and find someone who would be interested in that property and interested in developing it. So it's a great deal of satisfaction in helping people move this real estate into more productive uses over time.
When you're talking about development, are there any incentives that may attract developers that for especially for the residential, but also the commercial side? What kind of incentives are you seeing?
Well, there's incentives and there's disincentives, and some of them are practicing disincentives right now. They've had a little more growth than they want, and their impact fees have gotten very high. So when that happens, then the developers start looking for another home for their business.
Mm.
And I think that being business friendly as far as the impact fees, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have any, but if you keep them reasonable, then that helps the development move along. Obviously, there's a cost to the counties and the cities when more people move in and they need more water and they need more sewer and they have to expand lines and this type of thing. But these developers can assist with that cost and that those changes in growth. And if it's managed correctly, they can do a lot of that. But sometimes the incentive is to give them some tax breaks as far as real estate tax for a certain amount of years. That has had immense impact in Central Florida. And I think that you have to be reasonable with it though, because again, the counties and municipalities have to be able to support themselves and take care of their needs as well. So it is a balancing act, but I think that we can look towards things that encourage these developers to come in or new businesses to bring their businesses here that we can do to, enhance the area for them.
When you think about the next 5 years, what do you hope to see for Northeast Florida as a region?
Gosh, I hope that we continue to grow, but I understand that growth is going to be limited in some parts of Northeast Florida. Sometimes you have to stop and take a breath and reboot. And we've got a couple of counties that are kind of in that situation right now. And you have to have leadership in those counties that know how to lead the growth. And sometimes that becomes concerning. We need the leadership that wants to grow. If you have the leadership that wants to drag their feet and keep people from coming in, then it's going to be very difficult to grow. So leadership is an important thing, and the people choose those leaders. So I think your people, your base has to want this change also, and they should want it primarily because of the jobs it can create and the wealth that it can bring to their area, which will encourage their family to stay nearby somewhere in the area and help them, grow at the same time. It's a very complicated formula, and sometimes people get too focused on one piece of it and kind of walk away from it or run it off. And so I think we have to be careful of that and remember that a lot of people say, I don't want it in my neighborhood, but it's got to be in somebody's neighborhood. And we just need to manage it and control it so that it is productive and positive for the entire area.
Absolutely. I know one of the primary focuses of my effort is to make sure that I'm attracting businesses that is in alignment with the community's values. So we want to make sure that we're attracting the right business and that we have what people term smart growth. I think sometimes people can get frustrated by that language, but when our hearts are genuine and we're sincerely trying to grow things well and do it right the first time, I think we can really see a huge positive impact. And it really has the ability to change the trajectory of family lineage because, when we take into consideration a community like Bradford County that has predominantly been rural in agriculture and quite limited in terms of technology and innovation. And we have the opportunity to bring some of these innovative technology companies to the community. Now we're opening up the doors for aviation, aerospace technology. That includes ag tech. We're talking about increasing agriculture technology through GPS on tractors and the use of drones for farming. And there's just a myriad of potential, and really the sky is limited, right? Pun intended. The sky is unlimited to what we can accomplish with some of this technology. And what I love about that is it creates new horizons for the future. Our children, your grandchildren. Now, in this community, they're going to have more options of what they can do. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the EDC or Kahle Commercial Group?
Mainly just that I would encourage every small business to become a part of this community development organization. And it is very important that we push forward and drive the business in the right direction, as you just discussed, in the direction that suits the needs of the area, and suits the desires of the area. And but I think it's very important that everybody get behind the NEFEDC and help to do that. Um, Maybe if they're in another part of the state or whatever, then they have a different group to support. But here we really need to push forward on this. We've got a great opportunity. Bradford's sitting in a wonderful position to be able to, and Union next to it, to be able to move forward and do some of these things. And as far as the Kahle Commercial Group, we are excited about expanding, and we want to help the people that need the help and want the help. And it's just the type of thing where if it suits both parties, then it's a great deal. And so that is the thing that we work toward. And I enjoy helping people, uh, whether I make money or not. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. But I still feel like if I help someone, then, it's been a good day. So that's kind of the attitude we need to have with any FEDC. And to make small contributions like this is really extremely important for the businesses and the community to realize what it can bring to them in the future.
So, one final question. How can people get in touch with you to get some support in what they're trying to accomplish?
Well, they can reach us at, we see our website is at kahlecg.com or kahlecommercialgroup.com. And my telephone number is 904-838-6446. And I welcome all calls or questions. People call me for very interesting things sometimes. But I will try to help them or refer them to someone who can help them. So it's just part of what we do. And again, commercial property management or helping someone, you know, uh, change an asset into something that suits their needs better, then that's the type of thing that we want to help with. Help them find the asset that they need for their business or a place to invest the money that they do have in something that is productive for them and for the community. And so again, just feel free to reach out to us and that website, and you can email us from there or send us a link in from there.
Awesome. I will be sure to include your contact information in the description of our video. Sandra, thank you so
Okay.
much for joining us today and for sharing your insight, your journey, and the incredible impact you've made on Northeast Florida. Your leadership and dedication continue to shape the future of our region, and we're grateful for the foundation you helped build here at the NEFEDC. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in on this episode of the Northeast Florida Development Diaries. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this episode, and stay connected as we continue highlighting the leaders and innovators driving growth across our region. We appreciate you, and we look forward to having you with us on the next episode.